Hello, I'm Adam Cole. It's my pleasure to facilitate this panel about going independent. Everyone on this stage is building something outside of the warm embrace of traditional media companies. We're all making video, among other things, that is trying to have an impact. And I was so inspired to learn about all of the projects of the people here from all over the world. We have Yuri Fernandes from Brazil, Gloria Chan, who reports in the UK and Hong Kong, and Samuel Munia from Kenya. So we're just going to introduce ourselves, have a little discussion, and then hopefully we'll have time to take lots of questions from the audience. I'm Adam Cole, as I said, thank you. I'm going to learn right now how to use this clicker. There we go. About a year ago in May, I launched Howtown with my friend Joss Fong, which is basically a science channel about epistemology, although we try very hard not to use that word. It's about how we know what we know. Several years ago, Joss called me up and asked if I wanted to start this channel with her, and I really was afraid. I wasn't ready, and I think what changed for me is I moved to Colombia, and I was suddenly in a position where I didn't know how to do anything, and so I had to get very used to failing all the time. And so embarking on a new project like this, where I knew I was going to fail a lot, wasn't as scary. So yeah, back in May, we launched this channel. We have grown to 700,000 subscribers, which I'm feeling very good. It just ticked over last night. And so even though it still doesn't feel safe, it feels like we're on the right path. So Yuri, if you want to introduce yourself.
Thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Yuri, I'm 31. I'm journalist and screenwriter, I'm from Brazil. This is the first time that I'm speaking English in front of an audience, so I will try. Thank you. So I will try to do my best. And I work at Colabora. Colabora is a journalism website that covers sustainability and human rights. And we have a broad vision about sustainability, so we will cover education, health, and diversity. In this theme of diversity, I created 7 years ago this series, LGBT plus 16, about elderly LGBT people. Whoa, no, I didn't know. It's the series. Uh, thank you. It was a very success in Brazil because I think it's not a very common theme to cover. We are talking about vulnerable people in two ways. They are LGBT people and they are elderly and they are trans individuals also. And I think it's an important theme to cover. And I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Hi everyone. Hello. Ooh, yeah. Hello everyone. I'm Gloria. I came from Hong Kong, but I live in the UK. So, well, when Adam said you don't feel safe, actually I have to say that I don't feel safe every day. Not only because of the YouTube channel, the revenue or not, but Green Bee Media basically is, you can regard it as an exile media, but at the same time you can also regard it as a diaspora media because we report and document on the situation of Hong Kong, and at the same time also report on the stories of the Hong Kongers and the Hong Kong diaspora everywhere in the world. We were established in 2022 in July, so nearly 3 years, nearly 3 years. And we gained pretty much support from the population in Hong Kong especially, that has a shrinking media landscape, journalism landscape. Right now, and thanks for your, your capture, that I don't realize that we have already gained nearly 300,000 subscribers last night, right? Yeah. So we have pretty much support from Hong Kongers, but at the same time, we are also trying to establish more and more in the local UK community, because we know that in order to report on the situation of Hong Kong, we also need to let more people from outside Hong Kong knows about the situation there. So yeah, this is what Green Bean Media is about, and we can talk more about that later. Also about our merchandise. We are a sale, basically, not only a journalist, but a sale.
Morning, everyone. My name is Munia. I'm the head of investigations at Africa Uncensored. I'm a multimedia journalist and a filmmaker, and I worked at Africa Uncensored for the last 10 years. This year, we are celebrating our 10th year of telling the truth, exposing and empowering people. Our mantra is investigate, expose, and empower. We do stories that tackle corruption based on different topics, that is agriculture, financial flows, environmental crimes, all that, that's what we do. And we collaborate with local and international journalists and organizations to tell stories that matter to the public for public interest. We'll engage as we talk. Thank you.
Gloria, I was thinking we could start with you. With back when that subscriber count read 0, how do you go about finding your first following? Starting from completely scratch, how do you gather people who want to read and watch your work?
I don't know. To be very honest, that because we started quite humbly, that I myself, as well as my team, we are all former journalists, active journalists in Hong Kong. And basically, we just have a very simple mind as to continue to do what we believe in. That is to continue to report, to continue to document. And we haven't really thought about the future at the time when we established. So we just, well, sorry, people from YouTube, that we just think that establishing a channel on YouTube is an easier way for us to go. And that's why we set up our channel from scratch, from zero. And then I think because of the political environment as well, because of a number of reasons, that we build up the resonance between the Hong Kong people as well as our reports. And this brings to the number of subscribers just grow quite organically. Yeah.
Make something valuable that you know is needed, and you just hope that people find it.
And we believe in the content. We believe in the quality content of our channel. And at the same time, also the diversification of the content of our channel. And that's why besides those documentations, videos, we also have news programs, analysis programs, talk shows, about food, about travel, about football. So basically, we have quite a lot of diversification in order to reach as most people as possible.
Yuri, so you start to build your audience, and then you have to engage with them. How do you make sure that the people who start watching your stuff stick around and feel like they're connected to your work?
When I launched the first season 7 years ago, the results are not great in the first month. So I thought something like, oh my God, what's wrong with my content? But then YouTube started to recommend the videos for many people, and the people start to share, to comment, and I thought again this way, oh my God, I have a very important content here that people are liking, so I need to keep producing this type of videos. And so I decided to do the second season very quickly because I want to keep the audience with me. And I decided to launch in the Valentine's Day in Brazil on June, this time with elderly LGBT couples. So in this time, the success was like the same day because trailer on YouTube, on Facebook, was like a viral with more over 2,000 comments of people talk about their love. So, oh, I have my wife, I have my husband, they are my family. So people will start to share photos of their families. So I get so happy because it's a very important project for me and for I think for all the society. It's about me, of course. I already somebody very important to me told me one day, you can be a gay man, but not you can be not a old gay man. So why? I want to be a old gay man. I won't be. So this is the reason I decided to investigate and uh, to produce about this type of content. 2 years ago, in the third season, we decided to create profiles, channels profiles. So now the results are very big because the numbers were growing on TikTok, on Instagram, and also on YouTube. We have now over 10 million views on all the platforms. And on TikTok, for example, we have in 1 year, we have over 40 comments and 600,000 comments. Yes, it's because I think it's very important to young people know about this content because in Brazil we had a very terrible past about LGBT community. The violence during the military dictatorship was very strong against mailing trans individuals. So people not can forget about that. So I think this content show the reality, show how the elderly people suffer, and help to our help us to building our present, our future. Is I think is important to give a hope for the people because, for example, in Brazil, the violence against transgender people is very strong, and they are killed before 16 years. They are killed very younger. So I think it's very important to show that the people can be elderly, can have longevity is our right. So answer you, I think I keep my audience like producing. So when I read their answers, the people asking for more, I go after and I always try to produce more and more and more.
I think we've all probably been in a situation where we've produced a video that we really loved or thought was very important or valuable and put it up and maybe it didn't do as well as we'd hoped. And Samuel, I'm wondering if there's ways that you've tried to sort of bring your work to people beyond YouTube or like get more people to watch there or outside of YouTube.
Yes, we've done that. First, our organization publishes the stories online. We have a website. Outside that, we partner with the local organization and also international so that we can reach global audiences. Outside that, we also do screenings to people who do not access that platform. And we engage our audiences even after publication, the interactivity. Most of the stories that have maybe gone viral or reached some audiences, they come back to us giving us more stories. So when it comes to ideation, the audiences are part of the process of production. They give us stories and we produce them. On the flip side, when doing our storytelling, how we craft the story arc, how we tell the story, how we do the tapestry of the storytelling. It's also makes the story or makes the audience get glued to that story from the beginning to the end and avoiding those intermittent gaps. So I would say in terms of engaging, involving audiences, we have different platforms that we use based on segmentation that we do for every story, for every context. So if it's going for YouTube, that's a long form. It's going on Twitter. If it's going on IG, short videos that apply to that platform. If it's for the website, multimedia content, and podcasts also follow in that context. Yes.
One of the things that I've struggled with moving from working at traditional media, I used to work at NPR and Vox, to now doing what I do, is sort of adjusting how I measure success. So when I was, just a reporter, I was just trying to make accurate and entertaining stuff. And that was sort of how I measured. At the end of the day, like, did I tell the story correctly, and was it engaging? Now there's like another part of me that has to be asking, okay, am I gonna make a living? Like, there's other metrics of success that I have to take into account. So I'm wondering how you guys all think about that. Is there some way that you are saying, in my heart, this is a success when something goes up online?
Well, I think for Green Bee Media, we are still upholding one thing, that is the one who is working on marketing is different than the production. Yeah, so we have
Still have a firewall between those two.
kind of, but well, we are in need of human resources as well. We are lacking people to work on things. We are not a huge newsroom that we can really have the diversification of roles, but we kind of separated quite differently in order not to influence too much about what we cover and also about the judgment of the news value, etc. And that's why I have to say that again. I'm a sales right now. So basically, these are our merchandise online. We have tried to diversify the funding sources, which is challenging as well, because if we only look at the number of views and the revenues generated by YouTube, to be honest, we can't sustain. Yeah, we can't sustain. It's because as a news organization, in terms of the categorization, the monetization of YouTube is not that much. And that's why we have to diversify the funding sources, as to have merchandise, as to have Patreon. We also have the Patreon platform to have the monthly subscribers, which is a more sustainable source of income. And in this way, our production colleagues can be more comfortable to uphold what they believe in working on the news, in working on the documentations, in still maintaining the accuracy, and also still working on stories that may not attract that much number of views.
Yeah, we also have sort of mini slices of the pie that go into our income. And the one we're trying to build the most is Patreon, because it feels like if you're working for your audience, even if it's smaller, if they're supporting you, you can work on the things that are valuable to them versus things that might get 1 billion views. So yeah, we have probably a third of our income is Patreon, a third is the direct AdSense revenue from YouTube, and a third is sponsorship. That we read ads in the middle of our videos as well. How about you, Samuel?
Well, for us, we also on Patreon. Then the partnership that I talked about, sometimes we do production in partnership with other companies for publication, like the Mnet. We have a series of documentaries that we do with the commercial aspect. We also survive on grants. They are good to empower us and give us some facilitation to do so. We also do trainings and advocacy programs with the civil society groups, learning institution, even developing curriculum that also brings the revenue stream. So diversification of the revenue stream is what is important, because when you rely on one channel, it might be hard. And you know, the debate that's ongoing, especially from the US, I think in Africa we've been denied some few funds that we used to get. So if you relied on one channel, it would be very hard for you to continue doing good work. The story, the question you asked on impact, I think for the last 10 years that we've been working, I think every year the exposés that we've done, we've had some impact. Measurable, yes, we can talk about the views, but also in the society. There are people we've exposed that they've been fired, demanding for their accountability, policy change, behavioral change in the society, like the story we exposed on fake fertilizer. We have farmers who are empowered to tell this is fake and this is not. We have the story that I exposed the other day on Trapped by Terror, a marginalized community. We saw the governor going there to employ those people who have been neglected for the last 60 years. So it's measurable, and we appreciate what has been happening, and we keep going. Thank you.
I wonder if we could sort of go around. I think, you know, some people in the audience might be thinking about going independent themselves, or maybe they're in the throes of that as well. And we could just sort of have a group therapy session about some moments when we were very discouraged, or like thought about, you know, is this going to work? Can we keep doing this? I think for me, there was just a moment where, you know, we were sort of preparing videos for a few months before we launched, and, you know, in your head you're filled with delusions of grandeur that this first video is going to be seen around the world, or, you know, you hope that you're going to have a big splash. And then when we first published, you know, not many people saw our first video, of course. And there were also comments like, what is this? You know, like, and I was like, I don't know. I think that just from the very beginning, you have to find other sources of affirmation than just from without. And for me, it was, I mean, my creative partner, Joss Fong, has been very valuable just to have someone to lean on and say, hey, yeah, what is this? And then they can tell you, it's going to be good.
It's important to say, in my case, I start producing without any financial support. So I used to be the cameraman, the producer, the screenwriter, the editing. So I really do all by myself. And sometimes, of course, I was tired to editing all the night long. But when I publish and I start to look at the feedbacks, and sometimes one person told me it's the first time that I'm watching elderly trans people, so it's very important to me. So I decided to continue. It's not about me and my job. It's about the important thing that I want to live there. And we have 3 seasons available on YouTube, and now we have the 3rd season available on a big streaming in Brazil, like Netflix, but it's not Netflix, it's Globoplay. It's from TV Globo, the biggest station television in Brazil. So it makes me very happy. I think numbers are very important, and these achievements is very important. But when your content touch the people and make the people cry and think about the society and about their lives, I think it's very important. This is the reason sometimes I want to do another project, to do another film, but now I can't, because I'm here in Perugia to talk about this project, and I have here a card with a QR code. So we have now the 3rd season with English subtitles exclusive for you. This is a way for keep engaged audience. Like, I want to show to the world this project, because you can do this project in your country. You can see what the people are vulnerable in your country, and I think it's very important to be here to talk about that.
Gloria, you strike me as a very confident person, but I wonder if that has ever been shaken as you've embarked on this project.
I've shaken every day and every minute. Well, basically, first of all, I need to clarify that we mind the number of views and also all those numbers, but we don't always put those in mind as to influence ourselves too much, because there are already quite a number of things that are impacting us. And I think for Green Bean Media, when one of the, I shouldn't say uniqueness, but one of the biggest challenge for us is that because all of our team members, including I myself, are new migrants in UK, in Canada, in Australia, in a number of places, because we are all diaspora. We have left Hong Kong. And that's why basically we have to spend quite a lot of energy to settle ourselves and also to settle our family. And that's why we can say that we work full-time as an independent journalist to work on the Green Bean Media. But at the same time, we are also working full-time for our family, for ourselves as well. And that's why basically, well, we only have 24 hours every day. And basically, we are juggling every moment between work-life, of course, work-life balance. But we don't have work-life balance right now because nothing can be balanced. Yeah, so seems like we have confidence, but actually not the case at all.
Samuel, how about you?
I'm fine.
There's been no worries in the process. I mean, I feel like we were talking yesterday, and some of the things that you faced when you're doing reporting, I mean, I don't know if you want to share any of that, of just, you know, dangerous situations, dangerous people. Maybe that doesn't shake your confidence, but it's certainly a challenge that you've overcome.
Well, we've done several stories that are very risky, and of course, exposing corruption, basically you're hitting on someone who is somewhere connected with the system. So safety and security for journalists is very important. So every time we embark on a story, during pre-production, we do risk assessment, and we also do risk management during the production and post-production. And then if at all it's risky, depending on the threshold, we do mitigation for that particular story. I'll tell you there are places we've even faced death, but we've overcome because of being able to strategize and planning properly. And we say failure to plan is planning to fail. Yes.
I think I'd like us to go or do one more round of the same question, and then maybe we can open it up for your all's questions. And what I'd like to ask is, if you were starting out now, is there one piece of advice that would be useful to you? What would you tell someone who's embarking on this kind of thing? Last night, we went to a panel with a few independent creator journalists. Johnny Harris stole the advice that I always give, which made me furious because I was going to say it today. But basically, it's that you should just start doing stuff now, no matter what situation you're in. If you can find a way to somehow start doing the thing that's in your mind, whether you're still at your job and you do it as a side project, or you find a way to do it within your job, or if you only have one day on the weekend to devote to it. I think that every project I've ever done, I've always wanted to have started earlier. And so if you can start now, you'll start to encounter some of the challenges, and you'll learn about what you need to know to be successful. So yeah, don't wait, I guess, is my one piece of advice. How about you?
I need to think about
Okay.
Well, I think it's believe in yourself, believe in your intuition. What you believe in that you can work on, then you can work on, because there is nothing that you can't try. We can try, and we can innovate everything. Yeah. So believe in yourself, I think, is important.
For me, I'll say choose a niche. For us, we chose investigative journalism. As a journalist, choose a niche, have some consistency, quality when it comes to production, have good partnership that are credible, and that you can share ideas and develop each other. And most importantly, ensure that every product that you produce is well planned when it comes to before, during, and after. Then don't sit at a comfort zone. Don't be satisfied. Keep going.
I think you need to fall in love with your content. You need to feel how powerful your content is. Um, and I think you don't need to wait because sometimes, for example, in my case, as I said, I didn't have financial support, but I have great stories, and the story is more important than other things. We know that audiovisual is not cheaper, is expensive, and we are journalists and communication professional. And I know you want to do the best. I know you want to have a high quality in our contents, but I think in the beginning you need to start and then you improve. So you can recording with your mobile phone. You can borrow a camera if you don't have. I don't have camera, so you can borrow. You can use your mobile phone. You can like create a profile channels and start to share your content to the people watching, and then you go after grants and sponsors. But the first thing I think you need to start and search a good story. What do you want to share? What this content touch in your life is about you, it's about the society. I think with this, you can have a great success.
Great. And with that, I'll open it up for questions from the audience. You, sir, I saw your hand first.
Thank you very much. My name is Jimmy Saleh. I work for the BBC World Service, but going back to my home country, Nigeria, to start something like this very soon.
Awesome.
Thank you. Now, I've been producing local content in Hausa. I was editor of the BBC Hausa service. One thing I've learned is for you to make a successful transition from your comfort zone to that zone that these lovely people are, you have to think like a businessman. The problem is, or a businesswoman, sorry. If you've been a journalist, you've been trained, you've been wired to think content is king, content. Of course, we know content is king, but what manner of king is it that will not look after his subjects if you're not able to? If you're not able to pay the bills, then I don't know what will become of that kingdom. So without belaboring the point, please let's think like businessmen and women, like business people first. Because at the end of the day, you'll be dealing with foundations, perhaps in a way, and they want you to send a very clear budget. Oh, I've never done that. What's the meaning of that? And then they want to see evidence of impact. They want to see theory of change and all that. So let's devote some time to work on this. If there is a skill gap, that is very important. And two, yesterday I was at a session and someone said something very important. If journalists set up a private thing and is successful, they want to hire more journalists. And then hire more journalists to produce impactful content, so to speak, without thinking, hang on, I need a business development expert. Because at the end of the day, your partners will be looking at that, and sustainability is very important. Lastly, there is no one size fits all. Like you can see, Samuel's content is niche, but then Gloria's one isn't. It's a general interest in, so it varies from market to market. That means do your research very well before taking the plunge. Thank you.
Thanks. See a hand over here. Oh, sure. We'll get to you next.
Hello. Hi. Am I audible to everyone?
Yep.
Perfect. I am also a social media content creator, still on the smaller side. I'm still trying to build an audience. Would you guys mind if I made a video of me asking you something right now?
Go for it.
All right.
Is that okay with you guys? All right.
May I know where you come from? So we know where we will get famous.
Okay. I have my audience in India. I have my audience in New England, Boston, because I live in the US. I have a full-time job as an AI prompt engineer at Amazon. And I'm trying to grow my, my videos, my YouTube and Instagram on the side, and then maybe leave my job. But yeah,
Smart.
I need this video for that. Like, I'll film myself, then I'll film that. Yeah. All right, so in terms of like video content makers on YouTube or Instagram or wherever, one thing which I've seen like two styles of content creators. One style is like they will upload very few videos, but like I think you are one, Adam, because I see 66 videos on your page and you have around 700K subscribers. And the second kind of content creators I see are one like Miss Chan, where she's posted like 1,100 videos, and she has like a great subscriber count as well. So I'm pretty sure that you have like, the approach is not the same when you are going for making lesser, more planned videos as compared to making multiple videos and more regular uploads. So what is the difference between how you approach those two ways of making videos? And yeah, what's the difference, and like, are you supposed to choose one? Thank you.
Well, this is interesting because I think that the general, very basic idea is you should make as many videos as you absolutely can, and I am doing that. So, you know, we sort of have a vision of what we want to make, and we make as much of that as we can. So we're sort of up against the wall of what is possible for production. But I wish we could make more. I think it's generally better to make more and maybe lower your standards a little bit at the beginning, especially because it's also true that the first videos you put out, less people are going to see. So it's okay if they're, you know, you're just going to keep making more videos. They're going to get better. You're going to get more efficient. So I think it's probably smart if you're just starting from nothing to aim to make more videos, I would say, and lower your standards. But I don't know, Gloria, what do you think?
Wow. If I have a choice, I would like to work less. I would like
Right.
to produce less, much less, than what we are doing right now. Because right now we basically we have the daily video uploads. As I said, that we have news, documentaries, and then a number of other different programs. But I think it's maybe because there is a difference between the target audience as well. That's because our target audience, we're pretty greedy, I can say, or pretty broad, or in a better way. That our target audience are spanning basically primarily in Hong Kong, but at the same time also spanning across all the Hong Kong diasporas everywhere. So it is just impossible for us to make one video that that can really cover the public interest of all, and that's why, yeah, I think it is pretty much different. And I echo on that gentleman talks about that. We are not as niche as all of you here, because we are pretty broad in terms of audience as well as content as well. Yeah.
Thanks. I promised this man back here with the phrase to frame. This guy with a striped sweater, waiting patiently.
Thank you so much. I'm Andy from Austria, and I do the YouTube podcast Erklär die Welt. And I wanted to ask you, YouTube is starting to roll out all this AI auto translation of the videos. So I was wanting to know how you think about in 5 years, will language barriers on YouTube completely break down? Did you experiment with it, also with lip syncing your content in other languages? How do you think about it? Thanks.
Thank you. Have any of you guys played with that at all? The sort of AI translation and the mouth morphing technology?
We are still experimenting, so we are in that stage right now.
Yeah, and so you've done it. I haven't actually.
Yeah, we have tried to do English, French, German from our content, because our content is in English. So we are trying to see whether that's the future, because if we get the right translation, sometimes there are many errors. If you're able to do that, you can reach global audiences from different parts of the world.
And have you seen an effect from that? Have you seen like people commenting in other languages as a result, or that sort of thing?
Yeah, it's also easing the work, because previously we've been doing it manually. So we are in the process of trying to see whether we can shift to use of AI in translations and all that, transcribing of footage that we do for documentary, which is very long. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's smart to be experimenting, because it does seem like that's the way everything's going to go. There's already, I mean, we have auto dubbing, I think, enabled on our channel, so you can choose the language you want. It hasn't gotten to the point where we're changing the shape of our mouths yet, but I'm sure that's on the horizon. And as unsettling as it is, I think it's exciting to think about being able to talk to the whole world, for sure. Other questions?
Hi, I'm Christina. I am a journalism student, and my question is, as a freelancer, how do you build trust with your audience?
As a freelance, sorry?
As a freelancer, how do you build trust with your audience?
In my case, I'm not a freelancer. I used to work in a big company in my first years in Rio de Janeiro. Then I started to work at Colabora, independent journalism website. So there I have my month salary, but I can do freelances if I want, because there I have freedom and autonomy to do other projects. And sometimes I do freelances videos. This case is not a freelancer, but sometimes I do, because I need to pay my rent in Rio de Janeiro. Is very expensive. So I truly believe that the audience don't care about your freelancers. It's about your content. So I think you need to know the people that are that work as a freelancer also. When I start to work as an independent journalist, I never had been before these type of professionals, because I think in the university, I don't know in the rest of the world, but in Brazil, the universities don't talk about independent journalism. So you only see your future like working in a big company. When my area closed in that big company, I thought something like, oh my God, what do you do now? I don't know what I want to work, but I don't know how to do. So this is when I start to knew the independent journalism, and I start to meet people that work and live with this type of content. And I think it's very important to change ideas and knew these people.
I think for me, I would say ethical reporting and how you package your story. How you treat your sources will also make other sources trust you. For example, there are anonymous sources. If you expose them tomorrow, other guys will not come to give you stories. Outside that, you also need to have credible platforms that you are publishing so that you can have your article syndication of your content so that it ensures that your sources can trust where you're going to publish your stories.
I think we probably have time for one more question, but I'm going to be hanging out in the little courtyard outside the theater afterwards, so if you want to talk about other stuff, I'll be there, and I don't know if you guys want to hang out too. But yeah, let's have one last question, and we'll wrap things up.
Yeah, hello, and sorry to have been late to this meeting, to this conference. I'm Gilles Bruno from France. I have a Media Watch blog from 20 years now, and I work in a journalism school. I wanted to make a point that what you said was completely true, but yesterday at one talk at Brufani, they talked about that. I mean, there was this guy from Patrice from the European Media Fund, and he said that the new people that are going to see him and meet him are independent content creators that are not even journalists. And when they meet him, they say to him, "Oh, no, well, for my work now, I don't need money, but maybe you could help me for my next project." So when he said that, everyone in the audience was surprised. And I think that one thing is, and my question is, how to teach journalists to bury and to kill their imposter syndrome about business. And according to me, it's the key thing. And as my colleague said, I am going to try to buy and relaunch my own journalism school, and I'm in search for 250k euros. So if you have money, please come to me.
Right, the question of how do you overcome, I think most journalists have skills that are not in the areas of business. For me, my trick is that I really like data visualization. So I just think of the money that I'm earning as the data that I am investigating, and like that has helped me. I don't know. How do you guys manage that that transition into thinking about the business side?
First, it's quite tempting when you're given money, and maybe sometimes you don't have money. But what drives us is a goal, is a long-term goal. Short-term goals may kill our careers, because if I take money today, I'll be compromised, and nobody will trust me tomorrow. If I'm exposing some rogue society and somebody gives me money, I kill that story. What will happen tomorrow? That will become a thing of the past. How we do it? I think my colleague highlighted about expanding the latitude, diversifying sources of attracting revenue, and keep going.
Great, I think that's all the time we have. So thank you so much for coming, and talk to you guys outside.
So thank you so much. We now ask you to leave. We hope you enjoyed your time here. I know it's sad. But if you're going to stay here for the next turn, you can just wait outside and